Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and I am talking today about Warhammer 40K 8th edition and how it is going to relate to Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition. So, Games Workshop has announced 8th edition, and they have said that they are abandoning rulebooks and codexes. So they're going to follow the Warhammer Age of Sigmar model. The rules will be free and the codexes will be free. They'll be called War Scrolls, and just a very light, thin rule set. It's a really brilliant model. It is a very, very elegant, slim rule set, and then complexity on the unit side. Games Workshop is throwing away a stream of revenue from these gorgeous $80 rule books and these $60 codexes. And they're getting rid of it because they believe they can make more money without the rule books. And the reason why is the rule books and the codexes are a paywall to playing the game. And so if they get rid of it, they can sell more minis, and they can make up in the additional mini sales for what they lose from the book sales. Now, this is huge, absolutely huge news, and it will impact every single tabletop role-playing game in the market. And the reason why is Games Workshop is this is the big dog. Like, these guys did not take this decision lightly. They tested it with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and they're saying, hey, no longer charge people for your rule sets and for your source books. That's really what it is. Okay. Now, there are people who right now, I've already talked about this a little bit. I'm going more into depth on this particular topic. So already people have responded back and saying that's not a good model for Dungeons & Dragons because the books are the money source. What else are you going to pay for? And that is wrong. The books are not now the main money stream. They're not even close to being the main money stream. And so here's why this model is going to come to Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition, without a doubt. So here's why. The numbers on the books are, one, Wizards of the Coast keeps them secret, but if you just do the math, you can get a shape of where this is heading, right? So there are no more than 2 to 3 million players max on Dungeons & Dragons right now in the US, okay? On most of these books, you have to charge to print it, and then you have to charge, so you have to pay to print it, and then you get the rest of the money. The profit margin on the PHP, especially with Amazon, cannot be more than $5 or $10 maximum. Absolute maximum, okay? I doubt they're even making $5. That means if every player bought all 3 core rule books, you're talking $5 times 3 million. That's 15 million. Now times it by the PHP, the DMG, and the Monster Manual, you're talking $45 million, okay? Let's round it to $50 million, and then let's say I'm 100% wrong and double it. That means there's $100 million of profit. $100 million of profit for if every single player bought all the books. And those numbers are way high, okay? $100 million in profit is nothing today, especially for a Dungeons & Dragons property. Dungeons & Dragons is attached to a Hollywood movie. Now, right there, $100 million, that's the catering budget on a Hollywood movie. That's just a catering budget, right? Like, it's nothing, right? And so Games Workshop is 100% right. And this is a fundamental change in the industry. This is saying no player should ever pay for a rule book or a source book again. That is a massive change. That is a publishing industry comet. Like it is, it is a comet hitting the earth in the publishing field. This is a massive, massive change in the industry. It's huge. The announcement of Games Workshop getting rid of rulebooks and codexes for 8th edition Warhammer is so huge, okay? Now, I will answer that question that I think a lot of people are having. They're like, well, if, what's the revenue stream for Dungeons & Dragons if you're giving the books away for free? Well, the revenue stream is the merch, right? Dungeons & Dragons, the value is not actually in the game itself. The value is in the name, right? Dungeons & Dragons. So basically, here's the thing. If this is if the Dungeons & Dragons movie is successful, you're talking billions of dollars. $1 billion is a successful movie today. That is a drop dead. Hey, this is an awesome film. Even if it's marginally successful, they can make $100 million, $200 million, $300 million. And once you get that successful movie, you're talking video games, you're talking T-shirts, you're talking Funko Pop figures, you're talking a Lego contract, you're talking, fighter, cleric, wizard, rogue on the side of a high C punch, juice box. That's where the money's at. And that is hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. The $100 million maximum that you could make from the books is a rounding error on what could be made from the property if the movies are successful, okay? Even a successful video game can do the same thing to a smaller extent. So what Games Workshop has done is they've pulled the curtain back. They've exposed the entire industry, saying, and this is huge because this goes even beyond tabletop role-playing games. This can be a fundamental change to society, and here's why. Here's the connect the dots. Check it out. So Games Workshop 8th edition said, you're doing it wrong. Give your rules away for free, give your source books away for free. Okay? And that's what the rules and the codexes are for Games Workshop, okay? And here's the big ball of wax. Here's the whole thing. Our world has changed so fast that there's a new reality that exists, but nobody knows how to embrace it because it's so fundamentally upsetting, and it flips the world on its head. And here's the kicker. What Games Workshop 8th edition Warhammer 40K actually is saying is readers should no longer pay to read. Readers should be paid to read. Because what readers are is they're curators. And curation is a task that should be paid for. So in the old days, you wrote a book and then you said, here's my book, readers, come and buy it. Now, what the new model should be, and we're probably 5 or 10 years away from getting there because the world is slow, and like sometimes when a new change comes about, it's so shocking and upsetting that people can't really embrace it until they get a really full idea of what is actually happening, right? And the reality is, readers are your most engaged users. They're most likely to be your most educated users. They are the users who have the longest attention span. They are the tastemakers. They are the mavens. You desperately need them nowadays, right? To launch your intellectual property. If you're smart and you're playing it right, you care about dice, and you care about t-shirts, and you care about movies, you care about video games. The books need to be strong, but you need the distribution to be as high as possible among the smartest, most creative, most engaged, most thoughtful users who are going to tell the rest of the world, I've done the intellectual work. This is not chaff. This is gold, right? So I can't say how important Games Workshop's Warhammer 40K 8th edition rules decision is. It is groundbreaking for the industry and could be groundbreaking for society. right? And the reality is, I really believe that's where we're at. No longer should readers pay to read. The next step is to give readers your product for free, but I think it's going to go further than that. Readers will be paid to read. That is mind-blowing. And when you're giving your product to the reader for free, you're already approaching the idea of paying the reader, okay? So it's huge. Like the Games Workshop 8th edition announcement, that Games Workshop for Warhammer 40K 8th edition is abandoning rulebooks and abandoning paid for rulebooks and paid for codices. Really says to the industry, stop selling rulebooks and source books. That is huge. It is such a huge change. It's really a lot to think about. Take care.